Maybe as time goes on, as we start the project in full, then we will see where we are going to be creating more layers. It will show definitely. It will definitely show. So we'll see where we are needing to create more. And again, since we are creating our windows and doors, let's create our elevation windows and doors. That's for the elevation. The ones we created here are for the plants. They're for the plants. Okay, let's just do like this. Let's delete this. Delete layer. Okay, now let's name this as um, our windows and doors. Let's rename it doors, windows, and doors. Let's give it that. And now let's name this our elevation windows and doors. Let's name it like that. So this for our elevation, and this is for our plan. Yeah. So let's name it like that. And then we can just try to change the color. Let's give it a subtle color. Let's say this. Okay. And apart from creating, AutoCAD 2 has some of its components that you can just bring in to use. You just need some little editing, and you can also, especially for the furnitures, the windows and the doors, and some other components, maybe like the trees and everything, maybe the components you want to use to beautify your landscape. Then you can just try to go online and download it from cadblocks.com or any other AutoCAD components sites where you can get good components to beautify your drawings. Though AutoCAD also have, so let's leave this page. AutoCAD also have its own where you can use. Let's go to Control 2. If you need components for your AutoCAD, like that's the inbuilt component that came with AutoCAD. So once you type Control 2 on your keyboard, then go to ENUS Design Center. Here you are having different aspects of your building plan, maybe the exterior or the interior. Let's check landscape and blocks. Now you see we are having car, the shrub, the trees, the picnic table, and everything like that. Let's go back and check for kitchens. Here you see different type of kitchen components that you can use for your plan. Here, majority of all these components are for the plans and elevation. AutoCAD basically deals with, though you can use it for 3D also. For you to be able to use it for 3D, then you need to download AutoCAD 3D components. The components that came with AutoCAD are basically for the 2D drawings, the 2D, both the plan and the elevation. So this for the home spacing design and everything. Let's leave here. If you go to Control 3 also, type Control 3, just press Control down and 3, then you'll be having some other components where you can use also. If you come to the architecture tab here, you can see door, window, vehicle, trees, and everything that you can use here. So those are just the inbuilt components that came with AutoCAD. So now that we've created some of our layers, based on what I said earlier, any layer you create will be coming here, it will be showing here. So these are the layers we've created so far. Now we said we want to create our windows and doors, right? What we just need to do is to select it, windows and doors, to make it the current layer we want to work on. So now any layer I want to work on, maybe you want to start drawing our walls or anything like that, just come here and select the layer. So it will indicate that you are working on the current layer at that moment. You understand? So once you switch it off, it will switch off only that layer. Once you freeze it, it will switch only that particular layer. And once you lock it, it will lock that particular layer you are indicating, not affecting the full drawing. So that's majorly the essence of creating layers. And maybe once you need to create more layers, then you just go to layer properties and repeat the process. Then you'll be able to create layers. So now we need to create our windows and doors, which are these. Now let's try to, and for AutoCAD, or not even AutoCAD, for majorly building design or plan design, there are some standard measurements actually that are stipulated in the code of practice. Though there might be some clauses, maybe some changes they might increase or decrease, maybe due to some factors, but they actually have some standard measurement. As we continue in the class, we'll get to know more of the measurements like that. So now for doors now, if you want to create door for our plan or elevation, the length of our entrance door is always 1 2. Entrance door for a residential building is always 1 2. But for maybe commercial buildings or public buildings, it can range from 1 2 to 1 8 or even more than that, depending on some factors to be considered. But for residential building, the width of our door should always be 1 2. And for internal doors, internal maybe your room door, your kitchen door, they are always 900. And for toilet doors are always 750. That's for the width. Now for the height of any of your doors, be it the entrance door, the kitchen door, the internal doors, are always 2 1. That's the height for any of your doors. And for windows, we are having for living room window, it can either be 1 2 or 1 5. And for any other commercial buildings, they can vary. It can be 1 8, it can be longer than that. But for a standard residential buildings, it can be 1 2, 1 5, but majorly 1 2. And for rooms and kitchen are always 1 2 by 1 2. And for toilet are always 600 by 600. So we'll be creating our windows and doors based on those standards. And one thing I need you to know is that any drawing you are trying to make now, try to look at the changes in your environment with it. The kind of changes you have in the environment will determine the kind of suitable plan and the kind of concept you'll be bringing out for your drawings. Recent um, structure building designs now, if you should look at their windows, they are not usually that very large anymore. They are just it might be kind of long, but the width are not always very wide. So you need to take that into consideration. But for the sake of this our tutorial class, we'll be using the standard measurement. So now let's first create our door. And for creating that, it's based on your own design tastes. So I'm just going to create a simple door plan for us to be able to use. So for us to do that, let's try and select this our rectangle tool. Let's create a simple rectangle. Do you see now that the rectangle I'm creating now is based on the color is now the color of the windows and doors, because that's the current layer I'm working with. Any layer you're working with here, it will be showing here, and it will be working based on the layer you select. So now let's create let's try to repeat measurement. Let's say 50 comma 900. This is our internal doors. Let's create that first. 60 comma 900. So is it not too big? Okay. Let's move it. Let's move it. Okay. So now let's draw a line here of 900, which is indicating the width of our door, right? So now after that, then we can go ahead and then create the arc to show our door opening direction. We should be opening to this side, opening like this. And for us to do that, let's come to arc. Let's use start, center, end here. Let's click on it. Then we'll say this is our start, our center. Sorry, what's going on? Let's bring it the other way around first and see how we can create it. So now let's click on our start, center, end again. This is our start, our center, and then this our end. So now let's check the distance from here to here. And for us to check the distance, we're using the short command of di, or you can check it here. This is the tool for distance here. You can check it. Di, enter, and then let's check the distance from here to here. See that we're having 900 as our distance. Okay, but actually our 900 is supposed to be starting from here. Let's recreate that. Let's recreate that. this 50, right? Let's recreate that. Let's say from here is our 900, enter, escape. So now let's redraw our arc, start, center, end. This is our starts, our center. No, 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 no. This our starts, our center, and then our end. So now from here, the distance from here to here now is 900, which is our for our internal dot. So now let's just delete this